Welcome to community. We're so glad that you've joined us. We want you to know that if this is your first time watching this video, you just stumbled upon it, you're in someone's house, you were invited, and some of the things that may go on in this service may be foreign to you, we really want to connect with you. We want to talk to you. We want you to belong here before you believe anything. And so you can email us at this link that's on the screen and connect with us, and we will answer as soon as possible, because we really want to walk through any questions you might have, or anything about faith that you might be wondering about. We're so glad that you've joined us. For those of you who are regular members, you can follow this link that's on the screen right now, just to let us know that you're here with us and worshiping with us.
And you might be going through something in your life right now, whether it be a struggle, or maybe you're going in to the hospital for a procedure, you just have something that's weighing on you. Well, we want to walk with you in those times as well. You might want to just actually be able to talk to somebody. So you can call the number on the screen, and that'll put you in touch with our on-call pastor. If you leave a message on that voicemail, whoever is on call that day will get back to you just as soon as they can, because we take our name community very seriously. And if you call community home and you feel led to contribute financially to the ministry of community, first of all, we want to just thank you so much for your generosity. Those gifts help us to continue the ministry of community, and so you can give online to the link on the screen, or you can give by check and mail that into the church address. Again, thank you so much for supporting the ministry of community. Also, next week, we actually get to worship together in the same place. So bring your lawn chairs. We're going to meet on the West Sports Field at our facility on 15700 West 87th Street Parkway in Lenexa. So come out. It's going to be at 9 a.m. Bring your lawn chair. Come as we gather together as a community in person for the first time in months. So we can't wait to see you.
We are so excited that you decided to join us today, and so this time we'd like to invite you to worship with us.
Cheer up, my brother, live and Imagine a ladder. Perhaps yours is the ladder of work. And at the bottom is a sign that makes a promise. Climb this ladder and you will find significance. The ladder doesn't look all that dangerous from the ground, and so we climb, working hard, paying the price, and then finding our significance in each rung that we attain. But when we make it high enough, we discover a trail of strained relationships, regrets, too many compromises. Or perhaps yours is the ladder of leisure, and the sign at the bottom promises an escape at the top. Go first, you deserve it. If it gets too tough at work or home, you climb thinking, at least I have the golf course, the Royals, the trails to run, or my personal favorite, Netflix. We think that this ladder will help us alleviate some of the pressure, when all it does really is intensify it. But what if greatness in life isn't defined by the climb up the ladder? Jesus entered into our world and modeled that greatness is determined by how well we serve others. God has called his people to focus on the welfare of others and to be a blessing to all people of the earth. But if we're honest, our culture is mostly concerned with taking care of ourselves. So the question is, how do we shift our focus from what is good for us to living for the good of our neighbors? Today, I want to take us to a room, a meal where Jesus, in one action, taught us what it means to really live. He shows us that life is found in serving others. On the last night before Jesus was arrested and sentenced to death, Jesus made the decision to wash his disciples' feet. And we read about it in John 13. Now, I want to be real with you for a second. The disciples' feet would have been pretty disgusting. They didn't have closed-toed shoes like we do today, and they did a lot of walking in dust and dirt and animal droppings. It wasn't very sanitary. And Jesus wasn't just a friend serving his peers. Jesus was their respected and honored rabbi, their teacher, their mentor, and their leader. To have him take on the role of a servant and wash their feet would have been embarrassing, uncomfortable, and wrong. Imagine yourself in that situation. I bet you would have felt uncomfortable, and I know I would have. But washing his disciples' feet was Jesus' way of caring for them, serving them, and teaching them something very important. Even before his greatest act of selfless love, which of course was dying on the cross, Jesus modeled love on a similar scale by washing his disciples' feet. As Jesus washes his disciples' feet, he reveals his servant identity, which is the basis of ours. Often we think the way to an identity is to climb the ladder, and that our identity is found in the rungs. But being Christ-like is actually just the opposite. This is expressed well in Philippians 2, verses 5 through 6, and it says, "Let the same mind be in you that was in Christ Jesus, who, though he was in the form of God, did not regard equality with God as something to be exploited." Philippians 2 tells us that although he was God, a great and mighty God who inhabits all of eternity, he came down the ladder and he became a human being, but he didn't stop there. Jesus did not merely become human, he became a servant. Are you picking up on that? No matter where you are or what you're doing, don't let the rungs of the ladder define you. Now, that same night that Jesus washed his disciples' feet, Jesus said something else to them. John 13, verses 34 through 35 says, "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." You see, Jesus spoke these words knowing exactly what was about to happen to him. He was going to be arrested. He was going to be falsely accused and murdered. He was going to do it all out of love for ordinary people like you and me. You see, for Jesus, these were not empty words. He showed his love and care for people through small acts of care, like washing dirty feet. And then huge acts of sacrifice too, like dying on our behalf. You know, we may never have to literally lay down our lives for others, but we can be heroic when we love and care for others like Jesus did. But the love we're talking about isn't just about buying someone a nice gift or doing a simple task for them. The love we're talking about is deeper. It's not about doing something for someone so you get something in return. It's sacrificial. You see, Jesus didn't care for people to be flashy or to show off his power. He cared for people to show them the depth of his love. See, Jesus didn't hold back his kindness until he had a crowd to watch or a friend to film it for social media. Jesus cared for the people in front of him with no agenda and no reward. So what does this look like for us? Are we supposed to wash our friends' gross feet like Jesus did? I hope not. If we want to do a better job of serving the people in front of us, there are 4 words I want to share with you. The first word is awareness. The first step in caring for the people in front of us is to be aware of them and their needs. The second word is listening. If we want to care for the people in front of us, we must actively listen to the things that they say. The third word is interpretation. If we want to care for the people in front of us, we have to think about how our words can be interpreted, not only about what we meant by the words that we say. And then the fourth word is sensitivity. If we want to care for the people in front of us, we must be sensitive to experiences and perspectives that we don't fully understand. See, sometimes our hearts might be right, but our mouths aren't. We don't need to have superpowers to change the world, but we do need to be willing to care for others like Jesus has cared for us. So this week, who are you going to serve in love? Who are you going to care for? Let's take a moment to consider how we can care for all people, loving all as our neighbors, as sons and daughters of God created in his image.